We got Dragon Ball Super. We got One Piece. We got NBA. We got White Man Dan. And we got gaming stuff. This is the expansion pack. Alright guys, welcome back. This is episode 6. Got a relatively full cast this week. Hi Jordan.
Hi, I'm back.
Hi Roy.
Hi guys.
How you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty solid.
How was conference?
Conference. Yeah, it was really
I
good.
was at conference.
I'm sorry.
he wasn't in Ohio. He's a fucking liar. Either way. So we're gonna have Roy here to give us a certain insight on Super this week, but we did get an episode of Super this week, episode 129. We got pretty much the
Mastered Ultra Instinct.
Yeah, we got hooked up with what we wanted last week.
Yeah, a little bit.
Got what you wanted.
I liked it.
So Jordan, let's go ahead and recap that bad boy real quick. So what happened in episode 129 of Dragon Ball Super?
All right. So basically, you had Goku and Jiren fighting. Goku's in his Ultra Instinct mode, which now we know that it's not perfected Ultra Instinct mode. It's just
he's
pre-Ultra Instinct, I guess.
Ooh, so we get him to jump into Ultra Instinct, and this is such a big deal. And for 2 weeks, you get the anticipation, like, oh yeah, we get to see Goku in fucking Ultra Instinct, and we learned that he's not fully in Ultra Instinct. But either way,
yeah.
Please.
So they continue the fight. Obviously, they keep hinting at Goku's only dodging and using his defense unconsciously, but he's not attacking unconsciously.
Because he's thinking too much.
He's thinking too much, man.
So
you can't be thinking too much when you're fighting.
The thing that he's using to not think, he happens to be thinking in, because this fighting style is to not think, but he's thinking.
I feel like you guys have some issues with this mode, but we'll finish the recap.
Yeah.
We'll finish the recap.
We just wanted to let you guys know that's what was going on.
Yeah.
He was thinking too much in a fighting form where his main objective is to not think.
So, so Goku's being actually pushed back. Jiren still has the upper hand on him. He gets him on a little platform where he's giving him with a barrage of downward attacks, trying to knock him off the edge. Goku's about to lose his footing. Even though he's blocking all his hits, he still can't get back up, so he's kind of stuck. Then Goku actually starts attacking back. We realize Goku's actually starts getting the upper hand.
He does the Superman thing, like during Justice League when Superman was slowly moving while he was moving so fast he was slowly moving. Like, remember when Flash could see him in Justice League?
Oh yeah.
So he's doing that thing. He's slowly moving, but he's moving fast as shit. He's like,
fell asleep at
shut the fuck up. And then he fucking hits Jiren.
Yeah. So he gets the upper hand. He gets back at Jiren. Jiren tries to shoot him with the energy blast. Goku catches it and is just holding it in his palm, and he's all glowing blue. And yeah, now Goku starts hitting him back. And then we get to finally see Mastered Ultra Instinct. He has some silver hair with the silver dilated eyes.
Why did we get it? Why did we get Mastered Ultra Instinct? How did that happen?
I believe it happened because Goku
got his ass cracked.
Basically, it was more of he was being pushed back, and he finally was I guess that pushed him to the brink. They kept talking about heat. They kept talking about the intensity Goku was having, and I guess it pushed him more into it. I don't know the details. Super's pretty vague about the details, so I'm just gonna I think that's more so what caused the Mastered Ultra Instinct, was just being pushed by Jiren and being hit.
Yeah, had Vegeta kind of shit on everybody real quick, like, everybody
Vegeta,
shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you don't know Goku.
You don't know.
So now I'm actually curious. Roy's on here, not normally on here for this segment. There's apparently something we gotta discuss.
Hey guys.
I'm
So-
curious to see. I don't know what it is.
So Roy is, as we've stated before, he is the head debater of the crew, and from his 2 minutes of watching Dragon Ball Super, he's had come across a few strong opinions. So Roy, let's just get one of those strong opinions real quick. So tell me, what did you think about Whis' explanation as far as Goku thinking too much while he was in Ultra Instinct?
I mean, the whole point of the form is that he's not thinking, right?
Yeah.
So he's dodging because he's not thinking.
It's instinctual.
How are you thinking while not thinking?
How are you thinking while not thinking? Okay, is that? Do
And
you want me to answer this, or-
that's no. Please answer that, because
Okay,
I also was like, that's kind of damn dumb. But go ahead.
Okay. So I guess what the premise is when he first originally went into it, they said, is this Ultra Instinct? Because Beerus was like, oh, even for gods, this is difficult to do. And they said, no, it's on a fully recognized one. All he's doing, he can dodge instinctually, but he can't hit back instinctually. So he's thinking about, like, where do I want to hit him? Do I want to do a Kamehameha now? Do I want to throw him with the right jab now? But when it's coming to his defense, when someone's throwing a hit at him, he's just moving with the punch. That's how they explain it. I'm not justifying how Dragon Ball Super obviously explains things.
I would also like to add on to that disclaimer that no one here is justifying that this is the most common sense. No, it's not justifiable. It's Dragon Ball Super. But please, so there's your semi answer for there. I'm sure you have back argument on that, but we'll move into.
I'll allow it.
Okay, I appreciate that. So we move on next to Vegeta's little soliloquy as far as why Goku's not out. So everyone sees. That's the thing I was saying. Like Goku pretty much teed up, caught one of Jiren's ki blasts. Like literally put it in his hand. Like the shit was the size of the fucking planet. He condensed it down to a little ass ball.
That's scary.
Tossed it at fucking Goku, and then Goku caught that shit and was behind him, and he was like, "Nah, that ain't shit." So when that happens, it's like, "Oh damn, this rap. Goku got it." But then Jiren did some more shit, beat Goku ass while he's in Ultra Instinct. After he just did that shit, it was like, "Oh shit, it's a rap." Jiren done beat his ass, and now Goku's fucking flying off the fucking stage, knocked unconscious, upside down, fucking dying and shit. And we have a 2 minute session of people just talking and explaining shit. One of the things that we kind of said was like, we got fucking out of, let's say it was 20-minute show. Out of a 20-minute show, we got about 3 minutes of actual action,
yeah.
and 17 minutes of explanations, which were bullshit in itself. But going back to that, when we had Vegeta talk about how all of these Saiyans have reached beyond their limits because they've been pushed in this tournament, and he's like, you guys don't know what the fuck what you're talking about. Goku's been this. He talked about the chick Saiyan. He talked about the skinny ass Saiyan. They even did
all these Saiyans have been.
They even went, they did the flashback to Gohan when he went to SS2. They went back to when Vegeta ascended Super Saiyan God Blue, and so it's like, all right, this is Goku. Goku's going to be able to ascend to his next level. Yeah. So, Roy, how did you feel about that? What did you think about that?
I mean, Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
When it first started, they had a premise about Saiyans. They were a warrior class, so they were good at fighting, but they also loved to fight. Yeah. And then secondly, when a Saiyan was brought to near death,
that's when they
fully recovered, they would get stronger. Now, that is a premise they put out a long time ago. Okay.
And even just to exemplify that is when Vegeta was getting his ass beat on Namek, and he popped a couple sensu beans, and now Vegeta's stronger. Yeah. And he can go fuck up all of Ginyu Force's
straight
dudes.
Up.
Yeah.
Now, after essentially Frieza saga, that concept
kind of
gone. Otherwise, when 18 with Vegeta,
did he get stronger?
He would have came back. It's a wrap.
Yeah.
Goku, when he was fighting Cell, alright, son, just try and kill me. It's a transmission out. Sensu beam, what's up? You know?
Right.
That was a concept that was thrown to the side for good storytelling. Like I liked it, but
it was okay for you. It was okay that
exactly,
it got a little tossed out.
I understood it for narrative sense. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. In this now we see Goku about to pretty much done. Vegeta kind of steps up, pushes Goku get back into Ultra Instinct, right?
Yeah.
And that's like, okay, I get it. You're a martyr, so blah blah blah, whatever. Mm-hmm. But now we see that Ultra Instinct isn't in its mastered form, right?
Yeah.
So then Goku doesn't master things during a fight. That is something specifically brought up in Super.
Yeah.
Specifically at the Hit fight. When Goku was first fighting Hit.
Oh, he can't control,
Hit was doing the growth that they brought up in that fight, and they tried to insinuate that in Dragon Ball Z, Goku had always shown growth during fight. No, Goku's never shown growth during fight. Mm-hmm. If Goku wasn't strong enough, he either just kept trying and would keep getting his butt beat till he figured something out, or he'd be like, I'm not strong enough. I'm going to pass it on to Gohan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's how Dragon Ball Z worked. Mm-hmm. Growth was through experience and then reflecting after. Mm-hmm. Dragon Ball Super has added this new, and I call it like a shonen type thing, where like
let me say something and I get
as
strong.
You're fighting, like I'm getting stronger as I'm fighting you. Mm-hmm. No training arcs. I'm just gonna get stronger as I'm fighting. But that's not how it works. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like Ultra Instinct, I think Dragon Ball Super is really good in its concepts. Like the whole idea of Ultra Instinct is great.
We talked about like the theory, like Dragon Ball Super is like actual fighting theory, an idea of what you want and how things are happening. But they're very poorly executed.
Yes. Oh yeah. And that is my biggest issue with Super. Okay. It doesn't it just takes seemingly the easiest way out. Like all of a sudden, so like Ultra Instinct has a great thing, but Goku hasn't mastered. But you know how, it'd be a really great way we make Goku master it? Just let him keep fighting, and then all of a sudden he's got it. Like, for example, take off subtitles, right? Mm-hmm. I know you don't understand Japanese.
No, I don't.
Take off the subtitles.
You don't understand
Tell me if you know what's going on.
Episode 129 probably would have been the most blasphemous episode to watch if there were no subtitles, because you see ass whooping. Then this guy gets his ass whooped, and he's clear. It's like we saw the balance of power change probably like 3-4 times in this episode, where we saw Goku at Ultra Instinct was either matched or superior to Jiren. Jiren does his attacks, and then Goku stops it with the Ki Blast. Okay. So here we see the Goku's on the higher arc. Then we see Jiren knock Goku damn near out of Ultra Instinct. So now we have that side where Jiren is now officially the stronger guy, and then we have where Goku re-wakes.
There's too many shifts of powers.
There were so many shifts of powers in one episode, and it's like, was this done purposeful, or was this a rush job? Very rarely do you see that many shifts of power, like that literally changed the concept of the fight, and it happened 4 times in one episode.
So let me see if I can approach where you're coming from. Yeah. So I wish Swims was here, because this would be actually a really good topic for him to talk about too, because he loves Dragon Ball Z. But I completely understand what you're saying for Dragon Ball Z. I think Dragon Ball Z as a series was definitely a lot more well planned out and executed. Dragon Ball Super, that's why when we talked about the money grab, Dragon Ball Super does seem like it's kind of like, okay, let's come up with something last second so we can put something together
cool
so that
Goku,
stuff. Exactly. So, and then when they try to be philosophical with it, then you come up with these dumb explanations of things.
And you know what?
And they're illogical when you consider it to the past.
It's execution. Like if Super wants to break with the past and do a new thing, if they really want to make growth a new thing, okay, don't try and tell me Goku's always grown.
Let me see that.
No, you can't. Dragon Ball Z is there. Let that be a new thing. Like ever since they introduced it and they moved on forward with it, it's been done relatively well. Relatively. But at the same time, like, if you're gonna show growth in a fight, like, two characters can grow, but it's not gonna always change the shift in power. If you watch Dragon Ball GT is bad.
I actually did like Dragon Ball GT a little bit.
The fights are so quick.
Yeah.
And somebody gains a new power in the same episode, it is garbage. If you watch GT, the moment Goku gets Super Saiyan 4, I promise you, like, put a timer. In 2 minutes, he's done. He just got the pinnacle of Super Saiyan.
They also did that in Z when we first saw Goku with Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah,
he was whooping Boo's ass for a minute, and then
he's like, "I'm too tired."
Yeah. But and something interesting about that actually is that I think later on he's talking to King Kai or something or whoever, and they're like, "Go." Actually, it might have been like Tien or the other people. It's like Piccolo, maybe it doesn't matter.
Okay.
He's like, you could have probably beaten a Majin Buu at that point. He's like,
but I wanted to let my sons do it,
and
because they're supposed to protect it.
That looks like post rationalization, but it fits into Goku's character. Goku is like the guy kind of looking like he just wants great fighting. He wants to win, but he wants great fighting in the ultimate. And this new one, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense. It always feels like and that's why it's good ideas, bad execution.
I think the last note I have on it is like, I feel like if Super just once again thought about what they're doing, like I actually agree with you with if you're introducing a new concept, you should probably introduce it better. Like if they would have said, like, since Goku now has God Ki can only get stronger as you use it more, something along those lines.
God Ki's gonna have to be for another time because
I understand. I'm just saying the conceptual.
I would appreciate that more.
Yeah, at least give it some thought as opposed to, okay, he's gonna go full Ultra Instinct, and now we're just gonna explain a half-assed approach to why Ultra Instinct. Full Ultra Instinct is different than regular Ultra Instinct. You know what I'm saying? So I think that I with regards just solely to Ultra Instinct, I do like it. I think that the theory behind it is well thought out. I think him going into full Ultra Instinct is okay. It's just I would definitely like to see a better explanation.
Quick final note. It's a side note. What happened to Ki Blast, y'all? Okay? Like, I'm looking at the fight. I'm just seeing, like, whatever going. I'm like, Justin, what is that? Like, are those Ki Blasts? He's like, no, he's punching. I'm like, I walked away. I left the room, okay? I came back. I'm like, dude's here. Goku's here.
How is he punching that
far? It has to be Ki Blast, okay? Like he's like, no, it's shockwaves. I'm like, so what happened to Ki Blast? Like, a shockwave was an attack. I don't know if you remember, but like Tianzi, like little.
That was a Ki Blast.
I think that was a shockwave. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he not gonna get tired? Anyway, side note.
My 2 cents on that. I'm not too against that. Like I like that shit. Like they swing,
cool.
they swing. They swinging hard as hell. I feel like
Hell's Own Grenade by Piccolo.
Yeah, I feel like in Super they were a little bit more with hand on hand combat, which is okay. I think with that it kind of takes away the action that we get because we're not gonna fucking draw out that much hand to hand combat. It'd be a little bit ridiculous. But I mean I'm not super against it. I kind of like it. And the thing that I did appreciate about Whis' explanation during all of that dialogue was he said that when he's unconscious you're able to make these moves better, and I really thought of it back to like Coopin or whatever. So like when you're playing, like, so if you're playing and you're thinking too much about that shot, you're thinking too much about making that play, you're thinking too much about you make mistakes, where if you're hot and you really like, I don't give a damn, I'm pulling up whenever I see something that's open, that's when you play better. So I kind of I understand that concept. I like that concept. I'm not gonna stunt, but just in general, just overall as far as the episode goes, to me, I liked it. Like I had so many mixed emotions at different times. I'm like, man, this shit is dope as hell. Like, man, that's dumb as hell. And this emotion, like, that's really wrong. I really like. I was happy. I was happy and sad as hell.
Real quick, 2 cents. First one, the animation, like when it jumped up, it looked really, really good.
I'm sure it did.
Did you notice those points where
I'm sure it did. I watched it on YouTube with terrible connection.
It was real bad quality. We can't talk about that.
Yeah, we're not gonna talk about it. But I understand. I'm like, this is probably really nice. That's how you know it's some good quality shit.
These pixels weren't all there.
I'm telling you, this would be dope.
And then just one more thing. I guess they're gonna the next episode. Jiren's getting stronger too.
Yeah, we saw the preview. I'm like, we saw Swole Jiren. I'm like,
let's not talk about it.
He does look a little weird with a shirt on.
He look weird as fuck. He shouldn't have a shirt on. No. Let's not do that though. I don't want to do that either. All right, guys, we'll be back. All right, y'all, welcome back. So we're gonna go ahead and get into our One Piece segment, and of course, we have to start with the my recap of catching up to the guys. I'm gonna come up with a segment name for this at some point in time. But yeah, so I'm on episode 28, 29, or 30. I don't remember, but within that realm. So from where I left off, Zoro had just did some No, not Zoro. Hawkeye just did some raw shit and pretty much just rolled up out of there. Yeah.
Oh.
So he just rolled up out of there or whatever. And then so we had Don Krieg and that bitch.
Yeah.
And Don Krieg's doing this thing where he's still being kind of a hoe. And they have that weird one thing I appreciate and that freaks me out about One Piece is the character drawings. Like some of these guys, the way
I haven't seen anything yet.
Oh my god, the way some of these guys are drawn are just they really terrify me. Like the dude with the shields, I forgot his fucking name, but he has shields and he talks queer as fuck. And he has a big ass shield on his body. He has shield here and shield thing.
Oh yeah.
And when he gets mad,
he was weird. He was real weird.
Dude, that was so weird. But it wasn't even that. It was like his body was the size of this shield, so he had a big shield on, but his body, I'm like, dude, why is his back so fucking square and his arms so small? And it was really freaky. But
I don't even remember him, but I can imagine. Just wait.
I believe you.
The baton guy, I liked him.
It was a lot of stuff that really creeped me out. Even in like the last thing when they were fighting that one guy, and they had like the two cat brothers. Like those guys creeped me out.
Yeah, they were
really fucking creepy.
Yeah.
But either way, so we got to the point where Sanji pretty much, one of the things I remember well was Sanji pretty much explaining why him and Redfoot Zeth are they're how they are, and we found out that Redwood Zeph was actually a nice dude, and I like these names are crazy. Redfoot Zeph,
you still haven't seen anything.
That's a raw ass name. I know I haven't. We're not gonna do this every time, Jordan, okay? Jesus,
I'm sorry,
but no, like,
so what part in the fight are you at?
I'm at I was at the part where pretty much I guess we would count that as filler, but Sanji was, they're still trying to fight to battle to keep the ship, to keep the Batari.
Did Hawkeye dip already?
Yeah, he already dipped.
So did you see the Zoro thing?
I saw him fight Zoro.
What do you think of that?
Oh yeah, Zoro got his ass whooped, but I appreciated that. I really appreciated that. It made me appreciate Hawkeye, but I'm still like, what the fuck did Don Krieg do to Hawkeye? to
make him this mad,
to make him this pissed.
To be honest,
he came in,
and then I think Hawkeye was like, oh, I'm happy that finally find someone out here trying to do some shit.
To be honest with you, Hawkeye was just bored.
Oh, I know
he was bored.
I could tell you.
That's just terrifying, man.
He was just destroying their pirate
that
crew
black
for no
sword
reason.
was just. Oh, see, I'm like, that's probably the most impressive sword I have seen, like in everything. Like I saw that shit, I'm like, that's just real.
All right,
Yeah,
just a quick question. Sorry. Let people know what do you think of the people's backstories? What do you think of just the characters in general, that especially the ones specifically the ones that are joining?
I like the backstory of the main characters. I like that we took so much time to get Usopp. I like that. I understand who Luffy is. You get a little bit more understanding of who he is. I like Zoro. I like understanding fully who Zoro is and all that other stuff. And then, like I said, like I just got Sanji's pretty much his backstory of everything. So I mean, I rock with it.
Oh, the whole backstory, right?
Yeah, I got the whole thing.
Okay.
So I mean, so yeah, pretty much I'm just at the point right now where they're still kind of battling for the ship. Luffy has just entered the fight essentially.
Oh, he's about to fight Don Krieg now.
Not yet. I think they gotta whoop the shield guy's ass, but then
I got you.
Then he's gonna work out Don Krieg ass. I need to see how real Don Krieg is, because right now, like, I didn't know his name last week, and
now you know his name.
I know his name, but like he's like, Luffy gonna beat your ass. Like during this entire time, I think for like 5 episodes, and I seen Don Krieg talk, I'm like, but Luffy gonna beat your ass though. So it really don't matter. Like all of this shit that's going on, somebody could die. All this shit, like this, that. I'm like, but Luffy gonna beat your ass. So at the end of the day, I'm waiting for episode 50 to pop, because I'm like, I'm positive. I'm not even worried about what's going on right now.
Honestly, this is the point where One Piece starts to ratchet up.
I can see.
So from here on, they're gonna start genuinely meeting realer and realer people, and like this is a really good spot to start watching it in terms of, all right, Luffy's real.
Yeah.
From here on, like, you understand.
I knew Luffy was real, but it's like now it's like, yeah. And then they also went over the little backstory as far as how, like, the East Blue, West Blue, South Blue, or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're trying, like, the pirates, or not the pirates, but like the chefs are trying to get, what is it, like the main blue?
All blue.
The all blue. Yeah. So I'm like, I like that shit. That's cool. So
yeah, it really shows you how big the world is.
Yeah, and then they really made it open up, and the fact that they did that, it kind of helped, broaden things, where it's like, even Hawkeye was talking about like, you guys are in the East Blue, you're the best sword fighter in the East Blue. Like East Blue, the shittiest. Fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Look, they stunt on East Blue so hard.
Right, like, get the fuck out of here. But either way, that's fine. But either way, we'll go ahead and go into the recap of the manga this week, because
recap's pretty solid. It's pretty solid. So I'm gonna try to keep it short a little bit. But they basically, Luffy and Katakuri's fight has concluded. Who won?
Bum, bum, bum.
Luffy won. Luffy won.
See, we took a week to do that, and then it's like, all right, well, it's finished. And we look at Super like, but either way.
All right, yeah, no, but Luffy won. He had the deciding blow. They both hit each other. Luffy was the one that got up. And Katakuri, he said, are you going to come back and fight Big Mom? And he's like, yeah, I am. I'm going to be the Pirate King. And Katakuri said, I guess you can see the future. And he landed on his back. The most shameful thing that Katakuri has said is laying on your back.
Did he fall? He
fell on his back. He said that's never happened to him before, rumor says. But Luffy made him do it. So now, coming into the next chapter, it looks like we're going to have to figure out how Luffy's going to escape, because there's one mirror left on the island he's supposed to escape. He does have a way out. Picom's brought Brûlé. There we go. Brought Brûlé. So he has the key to get out. Now he's going to run into the whole family, and apparently they're saying even if Gold D. Rogers was there himself, he could not escape.
But they be saying some outlandish stuff.
That is very true, but just to set it up for the audience.
Luffy has no chance in hell to be
They underestimate his luck.
Clearly, so
they
so
they don't know. But Sanji's sitting there waiting for him, and yeah, that's basically the chapter. Next week we're gonna figure out how Luffy gets out of that place. And it's not on break next week either.
I like this because like I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but I have
it's so exciting.
It was like, oh, I can't wait to get to that shit. I ain't getting that till next year. Nah. Anyway, so Roy, what you think about that?
It was a decent chapter, you know. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I generally set my standards low, so I can't be disappointed in a lot of things. It's more protecting my positivity. If I'm not expecting, then I can't be upset.
Okay, that's fair. I respect that.
But I mean, it was a decent chapter overall. You know, we finally got to the end of this fight. Luffy won. More of a technicality, but he won. Immediately after the fight ended. Excuse me.
I want to make a comment about that.
Luffy fell first. Katakuri managed to stay up. Then when Luffy was getting back up, Katakuri was there kind of standing over him.
Yeah, I thought that he was about to do something.
And he was just pretty much saying, are you going to come back? Yeah, honestly, it looked more like he was acknowledging Luffy. And kind of expecting Luffy to come back and have maybe a rematch of sorts.
Oh, definitely.
But now my question to you is, do you think that this entire fight from start to end of Luffy versus Katakuri has adequately shown Luffy's strength, or at least growth of, because when he fought Cracker, you know, he was not Gucci, and he's legit 1v1 Katakuri. And Katakuri is the pride and joy of Big Mom, Pirates, and Cracker is like, he's cool,
he's on a whole nother pinnacle.
He's not Katakuri. That's like, that's like going from Justin Gallen to Usain Bolt. Like, Justin Gallen's dope, but he's not Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
And do you think, as a whole, the fight, the ending that we got, was representative of the fight that we saw?
So first I answer that first question. I think with regards to, I definitely disagree with how strong it feels that Luffy got between Cracker, who he needed help from Nami with.
For a change.
And whoa. He went with Cracker, he fought with Nami, and they barely pulled out that W.
Yeah.
And then you went to Katakuri, who's this like crazy dude, billion-dollar man, like over $1 billion man, and Luffy beats him one-on-one.
Yeah.
The only thing I disagree with, in a sense, is saying the way I see it is Katakuri could have ended this fight at any point, I feel like, if he really wanted to.
Yeah.
Katakuri gave himself up to be beat.
He did stab himself to make it fair.
He stabbed himself, and he never gave Luffy a finishing blow. What now, the part where you say, from what we saw, is it representative of the fight? That's where I'm confused. Okay. And maybe you can give your 2 cents on this.
Yeah.
it seemed like every time we went to the fight, Katakuri was constantly beating Luffy.
Yes.
Luffy had amazing will throughout the fight. The problem that I had is so he kept getting up from every blow that Katakuri gave.
Yes.
But it seemed like Katakuri could have been a lot more lethal if he really wanted to. Like, he didn't even use his spear after he stabbed himself, which I'm assuming that spear is stronger. It's like Zoro with his swords kind of thing.
Like, Luffy did not have a counter for that.
Yeah, and he just stopped using it. He just wanted to fight fisticuffs, basically. So to my extent, I just feel like it wasn't... Luffy was trying his damnedest to beat Katakuri, and I feel like Katakuri wasn't trying... to the fullest of extent to literally eliminate
technicality of a win.
That's and that's what I'm saying. So to that but Cracker was trying to kill Luffy, and that was a lot harder for Luffy to do. Luffy couldn't even stay and fight him.
Yeah, but I mean, but if we go back to kind of what Katakuri was saying, when Katakuri was all about efficiency, which is why I wasn't in support fully of when he stabbed himself. I understood him accepting Luffy as a challenger and honoring him, but up until this point, Katakuri presented it as his greatest respect and honor of an opponent by killing him as quickly and as efficiently as possible. When Luffy first tried to go Gear 4th, Katakuri said, nah.
He stopped him.
You're not going Gear 4th. Like, I can beat you even if you do it, but why am I going to let you get stronger and then actually have to
I think that was legitimately. I actually respect that, because now I'm thinking about it, that was legitimately the first time that I'm almost seen in an anime where the villain was like, "Why would I let you power up?"
Yeah, it was very One Punch Man. That's where it's like, why am I gonna do this silly trope that everything else, And so when he stabbed himself, it was cool, and I accepted it because. I mean, to him, I guess he saw it as a slight from everyone else. Like, why are you going to help me? Like, you don't think I can do it? So I get it from that point. So maybe it was a point of pride and less him kind of in the moment. But I wasn't in full support of it. But then him throwing away his spear. Like, he literally brought things to the table that Luffy had never even heard of or thought of and didn't have a rebuttal for. He said, I have something greater than armament hockey. Like,
the block mochi.
Luffy and us were like... You can get better.
Whoa.
He's like, I can see the future.
You can see the future.
You can get better. He said, essentially his power, like we talked about a while, maybe the first episode. His power is very similar to Luffy's, right? But he can still do more. He can stretch. He can do all this stuff. But he can actually create.
It's a step above.
He can create objects from himself. Luffy can't do that. All he can do is stretch. Luffy technically maybe has more tensile strength, so he could be stronger physically, though he needs gears. But
Katakuri definitely has more versatility.
Yeah, but and then he brings out his staff. He has all these things Luffy literally can't counter.
I agree.
And so I think it was a great fight.
And I think when the animation comes around to it, it's going to be amazing.
Oh, it'll be tits. It'll be fantastic. But I think that it wasn't necessarily earned purely because and it's very similar to kind of what Dragon Ball Super has been doing, which is if you take away all of the dialogue. Yeah. A lot of times we relied on Katakuri have a little thought bubble saying, wow, he's doing this. Oh, wow, he's doing this. If we're just watching the fight, Luffy's getting his butt beaten. Katakuri is just chilling. You know what I'm saying? Katakuri get a few hits and he's like, yeah, I mean, okay, cool.
So I'm going to say two things and I want your...
What's up?
Okay. So with this fight, the conclusion of this fight, we still know Katakuri, and you brought this up, Katakuri still has better armament hockey.
Yeah.
Katakuri has better observation hockey. Katakuri has probably better Conqueror's hockey, but we can't get that approved. So we'll just say they're about even with Conqueror's hockey.
We don't know if there's
a next level. And Katakuri is also Awakened.
Oh.
So Luffy has
he did do his awakening, bro.
So with all these factors, do you really feel like Luffy did get better with observation hockey? That was noted.
Yeah.
Do you really feel like Luffy's at the point where we thought we would be, where Luffy can fight Emperor or even fight someone on this level consistently?
At the level that Luffy is right now, this is the level I thought Luffy would be at when he was fighting Cracker. I think Luffy fighting Cracker, maybe it was challenging, but it shouldn't have been you need Nami 100% to win this fight. If he didn't have Nami, Luffy was dead. The show was over.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the way Luffy beat Doflamingo, excellent. I think Luffy earned that. I don't think Luffy should have run out of his gear for it, and then they have like 10 more episodes of him
just running away.
Running away, and then I feel like that could have been sped up a little bit. Mm-hmm. But up until this point, I don't know. I feel like for a long time everyone was thinking, is he gonna beat him? Is he not? Is he gonna beat him? Is he not? And now that he's beaten him, I accept the victory. But if you even look at that last panel of the victory, Luffy actually didn't get hit. He dodged it. He's below the punch.
Yeah.
And he connected. Katakuri is one of the better dodging ability because he can see the future.
But Katakuri couldn't.
But like if they both got hit and Luffy won that power struggle, like that age old like Majin Vegeta versus Goku, they both punch each other and they're just kind of looking at each other. That's dopest scene ever. But like I would accept that. So I mean I don't know. I mean I feel like it's a good fight. I loved it and I can't wait to see it animated. But I don't know. Could have been better.
My question to you guys, and it may not be One Piece-esque.
Okay.
But so you're saying when they fought Cracker, he needed Nami's help, right? Mm-hmm. So what do you think? Would it ever be a time where, because it seems like, and you guys are saying he's not even doesn't even have the strength to fight an emperor.
Oh hell
do you
no.
think would there ever be a time when is there a possibility that Luffy could die? No.
If Luffy dies, it's at the end.
Yeah.
If Luffy dies at the end. If Luffy dies right now, not only do people love Luffy, like love Luffy.
We couldn't continue One Piece without Luffy.
Me personally, oh hell yeah, I love Zoro, and
you continue as well.
The show could continue for me, but I think the show itself and the manga itself would die. Just because of how people are, people watch the show for people watch Super because of Goku. You know what I'm saying? They don't watch Super because it's a great show. They watch Super because of Goku.
I would still kind of watch it if Goku died and Vegeta took over.
But that's because we're different. People don't mess with Vegeta like that, bro.
What's your thing?
I mean, technically speaking, Gohan's my favorite character. But actually, interesting note. Originally, for the Buu Saga, Gohan, when he came back as Mystic Gohan or whatever they call it, or Ultimate Gohan, he was supposed to beat Super Buu. So,
but he didn't.
But he didn't. So the point is
he's a scrub.
I do agree with Roy. You do need that main character there. I personally like Gohan.
Do you need that main character?
Me personally?
You would need Luffy.
In One Piece, I watch Zoro more, so I don't necessarily quote unquote need Luffy. I do like Luffy. I think he's more interesting than Zoro, because Zoro's kind of like that laid back, chill guy who's just gonna come up and beat someone's ass. But I do need Luffy in order to
guys, let us know what y'all think. That's a good. I like that question.
Yeah, it was very good.
Hey.
Solid.
All right, y'all be back.
All right, welcome back, guys. We're talking about NBA. We have Sohan. And we got Justin. So, let me know, guys, what's going on with the NBA, especially after this All-Star break? How are you guys feeling about the season? How are you guys feeling about the teams right now?
Well, one of the biggest things right now is pretty much the streaks of Houston and who's taking over on the East side. So Houston's still doing this thing. I think they just won their last game. They're on a 15-game win streak. And then we got one of the nastiest crossovers within the past decade with James Harden with his signature step back and completely abolishing ankles.
You know what's like crazy about that is that he's so slow with it though.
He's so slow with it.
Yeah, he's like so slow with it, but like it gets everybody.
I think like his defenders are so terrified of him. Like if you don't play up on him, then he's gonna score. If you play up on him, he's gonna drive. I don't think James Harden's that fast. I think people need to stop guarding him so damn loose. Like put a defender on him, kind of shut his ass down. But that's why, dude. I don't know how he died like that. I don't know how that happened.
I would have. Did you see the meme? The Fortnite meme?
The Fortnite meme was great.
It's on the page.
It's on the page.
But yeah, like I agree with that. Like he kind of just. I don't know if he put his body into the dude.
No,
or
he didn't touch him. He didn't touch him. It was just a smooth step back, and dude tried to go one way, and James Harden went the other way, and dude just died. So. That's that. We got that out of that, and then also one of the big things that we saw this week was Cleveland taking an L to Philly. We're not coming at LeBron right now. We're talking about Cleveland, okay?
But LeBron's the best of all time.
Shut up! Don't do that. We're not those people.
We have sensitive people out there right now.
Seriously. But so, pretty much, Philly pretty much waxed LeBron, even though LeBron's been dropped. I think he's had consistent 30-point games. The most he's had in like the past like 3 seasons.
He's been averaging
2 seasons.
a triple-double this past month. So, yeah, he's been having a career month.
First time in his career that he's ever done that, right?
Yeah, so we're looking at that right now. And that was such a big deal because with the LeBron sweepstate coming up after this season and a lot of people not, necessarily thinking that LeBron's going to be returning back to Cleveland, one of the big spots on the East, at least, for him to land would be Philly. Philly's out here loving the hell out of LeBron, making billboards. Like, Dan said, you got a couple billboards up. And another thing that people notice, and honestly, I think, and I'm gonna ask you this as well, but I think athletes know what they're doing with what they're wearing. Like when Kelly Oubre rocked his Supreme sleeve, you know what you're doing. You're trying to be swag, you're trying to make a wave. And even with the kicks, like if you follow Slam Dunk, I follow Slam Dunk on Instagram. Shout out Slam Dunk. But I follow them on Instagram, and what they'll do like kicks of the week or whatever, and they'll do like three pairs of shoes that players are wearing. A lot of times it's funny because pretty much Nick Young wings this shit every week. But they'll show like such and such is wearing the retro T-Max, such and such is wearing the retro KGs, and then they'll even show like the newer shoes. Like Kyrie will have some nasty ass color scheme on his Kyries, but with LeBron has he has Zoom Soldiers. He has his shoes are really fucking cool. All his shoes are always cool. Like I can't say shit about like they're dope as hell. But LeBron's in Cleveland. LeBron's wearing red and blue shoes. He's not wearing wine and gold shoes. He's not wearing white shoes. He's not wearing gray shoes. He's not wearing anything that's necessarily reflective of Cleveland.
Subliminal messaging.
Yeah, and like you said, I athletes know when they're wearing. They're not just I'm just gonna wear these and gonna do this. No, LeBron knows what he's doing. So it was kind of a thing, and I don't know if he's trying to troll people or not, but it said a lot that he was wearing that color scheme, playing Philly, had a great game in Philly, and even like one of the Philly players, like they fouled the shit out of him and they tried to hold on. I was like, hold on, LeBron, are you okay, LeBron? You know what I mean?
Right.
So they're out there loving him. So what you think about that though? Like I feel like that I don't think that was just. I feel like he did that on purpose.
I mean, like it makes all the sense in the world for him to go to Philly. I mean, like they have Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, their core is ready. They just need.
I really love Sarge.
Like
Sarge
is cold. They got shooters, JJ Redick. They got all the pieces. It's just missing that one superstar. They get LeBron. I think they're automatically in the finals next year.
I don't care who gets over to the East. It doesn't matter. You have these two superstars in Embiid and Ben Simmons, and you have these role players that are so good. Like these are quality ass role players. You call JJ Redick a role player when he was starting in the Clips. You know what I mean? So and then you throw LeBron in there. It's a wrap.
I got like a little bit off topic for this, but it's like which brings up the subject that tanking is actually not that bad.
I actually was just about to ask you guys about it.
Tanking is not that bad actually, because if it could lead to something like this, I don't see why, teams don't do it. Like, they, of course I'll support tanking. I support the Bulls tanking right now. So it makes all the sense in the world,
Well, I will say that I think Adam Silver just came out with a memo to the teams to say, hey, we're not supporting tanking. But you're saying, like, you're a fan of the NBA, so would you mind it if you were watching and you're watching your favorite team just
I don't mind it because Philly's a perfect example of that. I mean, like, they're about to build a championship team already. It took like about 5 years, but they did it like even with mistakes. Like they've had like bad picks like Jahlil Okafor and like Michael Carter Williams and like all these other picks. So like they've done it with bad picks before, and like it's just I don't know. It's just like it's something that's good like for teams that are trying to get back into contention. And I don't see how you can monitor tanking. Like I don't know how you could like unless they like come out like to the media and be like
hey, we're tanking.
Like other than that, like I don't see how you can monitor it besides like okay, they're just a bad team.
I bring that question back to you. How do you view it?
So
are you tanking?
ESPN had dropped a stat saying that the last 8 teams in the NBA are pretty much tied for dead last in the NBA. So what that tells you is there's a lot of teams that are going through this process of going through tanking. And there's certain teams that you can really see that are tanking, and there's certain teams that are just bad. One of the teams that are just bad would be like Brooklyn. Brooklyn is just bad. They traded off that pick to Boston, and Boston traded that pick to Cleveland. So they don't have any real reason to be tanking right now because they don't have a great draft pick in this draft. So they're playing. They're actually playing. But guys like the Bulls, and I didn't really think about it, but when they brought up the big power forward, what's his name?
Markkanen?
Not Markkanen, the dude with the what the hell is his name? The big retarded looking one.
Felicio?
Yes.
Oh, Felicio, yeah.
So when they brought up Felicio, and I like Felicio, but when they re-signed him, I'm like, man, that
4 years for like what, 80 million or something?
Yeah,
like
dude. I'm looking. I'm like,
what?
Felicio?
Yeah.
Are we really doing that with Felicio? And the more that I think about it, and they'll say like, oh, one of the ways they'll do it is say, oh, we're developing this player.
If Felicio's getting 4 years, 80 mil, where can I sign up?
Great.
It's like who's gonna take him?
Felicio's not bad. That's the thing. Like, Felicio's not bad, but he's not at that caliber where he's shitting on D League. G League.
So I mean, just a quick comment, like, if they would have done that maybe for like Omer Sheik a couple of years back, I could understand that. That's a developmental player. You drafted him, he was on your bench. But Felicio's, like you said, D League or G League guy. I don't see any team coming for him.
He's a G League guy, and at the most, he's coming off the bench, but he's really putting in these crazy games with the Bulls.
He's a very energy type based player, but it's bad because it's bad energy because he's like a poor man's Joakim Noah.
Right. And you already have Lopez.
Yeah, you already have Lopez on there.
And so we look at other teams like Sacramento, where we don't hear anything, see anything. De'Aaron Fox, he's quietly having not a great season, but an okay season, a rookie
Buddy
season.
Hield is up there, not doing anything.
Not doing anything. Like you have these two high draft prospects there. Teams like Phoenix, where you still have Devin Booker dropping 30, 40 on people's heads and stuff.
You know what's also kind of like scary now, because this is my also fear for the Bulls is that they pick up in the draft Trae Young from Oklahoma, or a shooter like that, because everybody thinks that next shooter is going to be like Curry, but that's really rare. I think
people don't understand the kind of player that Stephen Curry is. It's not just the shooting aspect. It's the ability to
score.
It's the ability to score, the ability to just run the offense that kind of way. Just because you can shoot doesn't mean you're Stephen Curry.
He's definitely a one of a kind player.
Yeah.
Because they try to put that on Buddy Hield.
Look at him.
Jimmer is supposed to be that before Steph.
Yep.
They pick these shooters up, and
I mean, you even see, and I know this is a little off cuff, but you even see Parker. What is it? Yeah, he was supposed to be the next LeBron.
Yeah, Jabari Parker.
Yeah, Jabari Parker. He was supposed to be the next LeBron. It doesn't happen like that.
No, so tanking could go one way or the other, but I mean, more than likely, if you're like Philly and you actually know what you guys are doing, with how you want to build it, you'll be fine.
One thing with Mark Cuban, because Mark Cuban got fined for saying that, literally saying that he's tanking, and just to actually,
Mark Cuban doesn't care.
To answer your question, because I didn't answer it. Right. Yeah. But no, with Mark Cuban, he said we're tanking, and I think for me personally, I don't have a problem with teams tanking, and I don't have a problem with teams being open about tanking. If we as consumers still choose to go and watch these games, like Philly fans, Phillies, they still get their money. Bulls are always sold out. If we as fans are okay with them tanking, as long as we had I don't think teams are just tanking just to be bad. They're clearly tanking to try to get a better setup. Yeah. And then not everybody doesn't tank like Philly. Like Philly fucking tanked. You know what I'm saying? They said we're going to be the worst team. Certain teams
but that
tanking
pays off.
Yeah, it pays off. But to certain teams, tanking doesn't have the same thing.
The Bulls can't do that because they actually have a good legit core.
Yeah, but that's the thing. With the Bulls, that's why I'm saying tanking is different for everyone. Yeah. Tanking for Philly is being god awful for a decade. Tanking for the Chicago Bulls is trying to have a mediocre team, but we're not. But what we're not gonna do is put money towards the superstar to try to go to that next level. Mm-hmm. We're gonna stay mediocre. We're gonna be happy with being mediocre for 2, 3, 4 seasons. Get our money, our salary cap together, and once we have a big boom on the free agent market, or we have a crazy draft class, that's when we'll make that move to try to go to that next level.
So can I ask one last question? You know, you guys both agree that tanking is okay in a sense. It depends if it really pays off. Is where you're coming at. So I mean, I think in this decade, primarily you've seen like a revamp of the Lakers. Well, Lakers are kind of still getting there, but you're definitely seeing it in Boston. Like Boston has definitely did that recap, but I wouldn't call it tanking per se. And now you see Philly's on their way up, and they actually tanked to get there. So as a fan, do you see it as two different things, or do you see one being better than the other, like that perspective of like Boston versus Philly?
Well,
revamp?
In Boston's case, it just got lucky because Isaiah Thomas became a superstar, and then they found a good core around him. You know, they just got really lucky.
I mean, they had some good draft picks too, and a good coach.
Yeah.
They picked after Doc Rivers.
But you see, Brad Stevens wasn't considered a good coach before they had the winning seasons. They actually were trying to get rid of Brad Stevens before they started to win and turn it around. So he wasn't considered a good coach. I mean, it's just like it depends on the situation of the team. Philly's an extreme case where it's like they had literally nothing, and it was even crazier that they started to tank right after they were like one game away from reaching the Eastern Conference Finals that year. After they beat the Bulls and they played the Boston Celtics that year. And then they went to Game 7 and lost, and then went straight to tanking. Like, I've never seen a team do that before. Like,
in basketball,
decisive. Yeah. They made the decision. I mean, like I said, for certain teams, if you're, it goes back to that fair weather fan versus diehard fan. With the Bulls, I see what the Bulls are doing. Like, for me, it's a better thing for me that they are deciding to tank versus doing what they've been doing for the past 2-3 years, which is overpaying players, grabbing the wrong players, taking the wrong steps and putting money into these wrong players to try to be indecisive. Good. Being decisive and being upfront with your fan base is the thing that really kind of smooths that out. Because, like I said, Philly came out to the public. They said, "Hey, we're gonna suck," and the next thing from there is just. If you're lying to your fan base and you're saying, "Hey guys, we're trying, but it's not working out," that's bullshit. We can see that you're clearly overpaying this guy, not picking up this guy, and doing all of these things. But when you're open about it, it kind of lowers those expectations. Like Roy Ass was saying, it lowers your expectations and it makes the hit a lot worse. And in the meantime, it allows you to look at these other teams. My last point, the only thing about this is what it does for the NBA in itself. For the team, it's not terrible, but what it does for the NBA in itself, it makes it god damn near unwatchable. When I'm watching stuff on like Watch ESPN or CB or whatever the fuck comes on, I'm watching these games and it's like, Jesus Christ, the only games that matter is between the toss up of 4 or 5 teams in the East and 4 or 5 teams on the West. If it's not a cross conference matchup and it's not a matchup between the top 5 teams, I don't want to watch it. And you'll get to a point where Washington playing Golden State, they made it a big deal. Like, who the fuck cares? Right. No one cares about Washington. Jesus Christ, I don't care about Bradley. Kevin Durant returns back to DC and drops this. Like, who the fuck cares? No one cares. This game doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Golden State's gonna do their thing on the East. Washington's gonna fucking lose and not make it to the conference finals.
Yeah,
and that's the end of it. So it makes the NBA a worse watch. And I understand why Adam Silver is like, you guys need to figure this shit out. Yeah. But it's a real battle. I think it's something that they'll probably reach within the the next collective bargaining agreement, and they'll try to get a better grasp on what's tanking, what's not tanking, what's allowed, what is allowed.
And you have any last point on it?
Well, when taking, I guess what a solution, there was this, thing I was reading, an article where it was, they were considering a playoff for the losing teams, right? And, basically they'll come up with draft picks that way, And that could be a great solution.
That's interesting.
That would be, you get to watch a second playoff, you see more games, I think it'll make the league a lot of money that way, too, a lot more, watchable and whatnot. The teams aren't as worse, and you actually are not tanking. You have something to play for afterwards.
And when Evan Silver was talking about that, one of the things was making it where you're not going to get rewarded for this tanking. You can be bad, but you're not going to be rewarded for being this bad because you're like doing stuff like that really put something on it.
The lottery is broken.
Yeah, the lottery's terrible. They have to fix it.
You know what would be interesting is if you push up, like maybe you make like like you know how they have summer league.
Yeah.
Maybe push that up with stakes actually, like
stakes,
that kind of determine. Like you're in the top bottom, 4 teams in each division. You play those games. You play these games, and you determine your draft pick. Kind of. That'd be interesting. I think that'd be really. As a fan, you'd sit there and be like, "Oh, my team better be the best of the worst."
Yeah.
So anyway, but that'll wrap up our NBA talk. Just know you can tank as long as you communicate. All right, we'll see. We'll be back.
All right, guys, welcome back. So we have Dan here. I'm gonna go ahead and get into our DLC segment. So let us know what you got going on.
All right, this week on Dan's Logged Comments. This past week I've been doing a lot of research as far as future car investments. I'm kind of evaluating and making a list of pros, cons, and needs. Obviously, a car is in the need currently, but
what you trying to get?
I'm divided in between getting either a Subaru WRX or a Jeep Grand Cherokee.
White people love Subarus.
No. That's my favorite car. The STI specifically.
White people love Subarus.
Excuse me, guys.
I've looked in the STI, but the thing that's actually pushed me away from the WRX, especially the STI, is it's such like a fuckboy car. It's
What do you mean?
It's a tuner car. Like,
No, it's not.
all the jabronis have them.
No, it's...
Yes, it does.
Get out of here.
Oh, my...
You said jabroni, you're cool. But don't you ever diss the STI like
no,
that.
No, it's got a weird following with like these hipsters and fucking just don't want to be affiliated with that. I'm a muscle car guy. That's
Bro, like 2000 to 2005 is probably the sexiest.
I mean, yeah, because you had the Rally Edition. But... I mean, I was looking at the Subaru as because it has that Somatical all-wheel drive.
Mm-hmm. It's stiff ride though.
I drive a Camaro, so it's pretty stiff in itself. I mean, I grew up with muscle cars, and but yeah, with Illinois, we don't really have bad winters, but when we do get that snow, that's why I was looking at cars with all-wheel drive. So that's like one of the things on my list now, looking at through cars. And like I used to hate Jeep, like Jeeps. Everybody that I knew, their battery went dead. The automatic, no,
you're a hipster.
It's just they did a lot of weird stuff to ruin it.
They hate things because everyone else has them. No, that's the definite.
It's okay to hate Jeep. Like it's okay to hate Jeep.
Yeah, but.
Like anyone that wants a Wrangler.
Why do you need an electronic accelerator?
We just sat there and talked. We saw a Jeep when we were parking. It's like, why do you need an off-road Jeep in the middle of Chicago?
And this dude has like a Jeep Sahara off-road edition.
That's like ridiculous Jeep. But there's Jeeps are cool.
No, but it's as far as like the engines and the components in the engines, I don't like.
I got you.
They don't have a manual gear shifter. They have a little switch. It's like. That's obviously gonna go bad one day, and you're not gonna enjoy that day. Like same thing with like the automatic accelerator. Like that's gonna like a fuse is gonna blow, something's gonna short, and now you're going 100 miles per hour into a wall. Like you don't. That's with cars with all this technology. Like I don't really trust it. But last weekend, or I believe 2 weekends ago, was the Chicago Auto Show, which is America's largest auto show, and Jeep had a station. I'm not sure if you guys went, but they had a station where you could get into different types of brands of Jeeps, and then they took you on an obstacle course, and it was like weird, and they tried to show off all the components. But one of the Jeeps that I got into, I was actually like, I potentially see myself with one of these Jeeps.
What was the model?
It was a Grand Cherokee Trailhawk 5.7 Hemi. V8, so
of course.
And I had like the air suspension. I had the all-wheel drive with the different power transfers.
That's
and
a lot of things you don't need in that car.
I mean, not now, but
not ever.
Like my other shows, I was talking about hunting. Like you go into the woods. Yeah, I need something to throw a deer in the back. So.
With the V8.
V8. Well, I have a personal opinion on vehicles. Like I'm not gonna buy a car because to get a car. I'm gonna buy a car so I can show it off, so people look at it. Something that's worth driving and investing in. Because like
got gas money too, Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get him! Get him, Dan!
But no, I was looking at it, and then I ended up with not really liking Jeeps, I kind of got away from the brand and didn't keep up with it. But this last week I was doing a lot of research with Jeeps, and they switched to a brand new engine. It's a 3.6 Pentastar. So it's basically, they changed the valves inside the engine and the cylinders so that it's more eco-friendly. You get more power and torque. And then looking at all the models with the all-wheel drive, with the different specs and the backup cameras and the 5.4-inch display and Uconnect and heads-up display, all these different features in each different models. But I was curious because my future hobby is going to be working on cars. So I tried to look up how like modifiable a Jeep is, and with the newer Jeep, especially the Grand Cherokee, they have actually a lot of stuff out there that you can bolt on. And
you can do a lot.
Yeah,
bro.
But I never trust it.
I get you.
You have a 2.0 liter engine.
I mean,
like,
I've had
my
friends
lawnmower's
who
a
love
1 liter.
Jeeps, and they do a lot. like if you change the whole like kind of like chassis and like suspension system.
Oh yeah, but
like,
that doesn't make your car faster. That just makes it more like comfortable.
But it's
like
customizable.
Steering.
I mean, even you can like go off roading. Like I feel you.
Dan, why don't you like trucks? Like, do you not like trucks?
I mean, it just, the truck is usually a 3-seater. You have the storage, but it's in the back. And especially in the winter, like if you have a lot of snow, most of the weight is in the front, so the back end kicks out no matter if it's 4-wheel drive or front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. And like you said, gas, like trucks are not eco-friendly at all, especially like these Fords and Chevys and Dodges. I mean, they're powerful, they're for towing, but I don't have a trailer or something to tow. Like,
you have a boat, get a boat.
Yeah, but I actually don't like boats.
Oh my gosh!
Well, it's a fucking a dinghy with an engine.
He said it's a dinghy.
Like, I don't understand why people enjoy boats. Like, you're just on
water.
Yeah, but imagine, would you rather have a 4-wheeler or would you rather have a boat?
Because of the water.
Dan showing you his diversity as a white man.
Yeah.
You, sir, are being stereotypical. Great job, Dan. Tell him.
No, Dan. Boats are great.
But
okay.
Yeah, so I was looking at, but Jeeps with all this technology and everything is actually like the price is kind of high. Like the Trailhawk is $66,000.
Yeah.
Like $66,000, I can get a Cadillac ATS-V. It's 3.6 as well, and it's going to be a sports car. It's going to be a lot more like fancy and have a lot more technology in it. Like, so I was kind of looking at like the smaller engines, which would be the 3.6 instead of the 7.7 Hemi. And they have a supercharger now that you can bolt on basically in your backyard. It has a step-by-step diagram. So as long as you have tools, you basically put it together. Like, so, but that they took it and they were explaining how Jeeps advertise at the 220 horsepower, which is crank horsepower, not wheel horsepower, completely different. And so Jeeps in reality only have like 190, 200 horsepower to wheel, and with the supercharger, like they were reaching 300s, 340s, and that's just the supercharger itself. Like, that's not doing any with the special cold air intake or reboring the cylinders, or like what you were saying, like reducing weight of suspension and stuff. Like, so you can get a 400, like with enough money put into it, you can get a 400 horsepower Jeep all-wheel drive. Like, you can put on the new exhaust and everything, and you can make it sound pretty sweet. And so that's what I was looking at, is with all those modifications, it's actually a car that I could see myself driving. It
sounds like you're not getting WRX, which is...
Nah, really,
WRX would be if...
You're not getting it, Dan.
No, it's if I move out of state, I would get it. Like, right now I'm looking at a Jeep because it's the all-wheel drive, and I wouldn't have to do that bullshit in the wintertime of digging my car out. You just put that...
Where are you going to move then, Dan?
I'm trying to move anywhere outside of Illinois.
Okay, what if you go more Midwest?
All right,
and there's still snow.
Then I get my Jeep.
Okay.
Are you gonna get the female version of the word fuckboy rims with the little star on it?
No, the Captain America rims.
Like all the Jeeps that are like...
Yeah, they have like, it's like this a specific brand that, like the Jeep outside that we saw coming in here today. It's like a special Sahara edition with the star. No.
Oh, okay. I know.
You don't need to buy rims for a fucking vehicle, like, unless it's trash, like the 2013, 2012 Camaros, where they came with like the fucking basically
But the
hubcap
manufacturers
wheels.
have
Those are terrible.
No, but I mean, look at the Chevy Cruze or the Chevy Malibu. Look at the all these vehicles. They are basically like the Honda Civic.
Yeah.
The Honda Civic, they made it the more edges on it. They made it more aerodynamic, and they put on some decent ass wheels.
They have
like,
rims.
I can see myself driving a Civic.
But some cars have like for example, if you get like a basic Honda Sonata, the OEM has. Like you can buy the rims for a different model for your car and put them on there. For like my neighbor, he had the Benz he had. Like the rims on there, he bought them from Mercedes because the ones he normally had were pretty dang lame. You can always get other OEM like stock rims.
What color?
Oh, all my cars are gonna be custom Destroyer Gray.
Destroyer Gray.
So basically, I don't know if you've seen it. The was it the 392 Charger, the Dodge Charger? They have the Destroyer Gray Hellcat.
Oh yeah,
it's that color. So it's like a shiny
Dodge
flat.
Demon or Hellcat.
It's kind of weird, huh?
Dodge Demon or Hellcat?
There's no need for Demon in this state.
Versus, I'm telling you which.
Oh,
one.
Obviously the Demon.
Okay.
Like you can do wheelies.
You can do wheelies.
It does have a lot of horsepower though. They put a lot in there.
But actually, what's funny is Camaro just came out and they did a bunch of road testing, and the Camaro is now the fastest American muscle car on the street. It had a top speed of 200. A Camaro? Yes, it does.
It's cool.
A Camaro is going to be like after I get my Jeep.
The Camaro.
Eat a dick.
I mean, they cool, but they not all that. You know why I'm not even in love with them anymore?
One.
No. Oh my. No. You know what?
Yeah.
When the Camaro first came out in that Transformers movie, Bumblebee.
That was a special edition.
I get it. At that time, I think when they were making the movie, I think I was watching some. There's only 4 in the world because they hadn't mass produced it yet. So like they had to be really careful with it. And it was cool then, but it's gotten like
Dan, what year is your Camaro?
Mine's 95.
I had a.
Oh, never mind. I take it all back.
Yeah, you did.
Your Camaro's dope.
I thought you had a new
one.
I had a 91. Those things are fucking fast.
Well, 91, I think it's either the F body or the IROX.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the new one. Okay.
Tell them the story. Tell them the story just to wrap it up because we want to go over the shit. Tell them the story about why your dash is cracked with your Camaro.
Oh yeah. So my dash being my car is 1995, so 23 years old. The dash is plastic and it got sun warped, so it got really brittle. And because of my engine, I had a high number of torque. And taking off, from a green light, I tried to beat the car next to me. And taking off, there was so much torque, and that my dash was so brittle, so old that it actually caused a crack to go from the defrost vent all the way to the side, the passenger side window.
That's dope.
So right now I have just a covering it up.
I've literally never
his fucking
seen
car bent in half. His fucking car bent because he's going so fast. His fucking car bent.
Torque.
But did you beat him?
Huh?
Did you beat him?
Yeah. I mean,
what was he driving? Were you just racing random people?
No, I was trying to beat him to get over so that I could get into the exit lane. No, but actually, I had a 1989 Mercury Sable and I raced a Porsche and I won because he didn't want to crash.
Playing chicken bitch.
But it counts.
All W count.
It was a 2-lane going into 1 lane, and we were racing to get to the 1 lane. So I didn't move.
Have you seen the new Fortnite emote?
No.
The L. Oh, I was gonna get up.
Oh yeah, they're dancing around like that. Yeah. So, I mean, but like I said, I want my hobby in the future to be cars, and I'm probably going to get a Z01 Camaro in the future after fucking student loans are paid off. That's another topic I'll talk about. But
I'm gonna go buy a S10. I'm gonna have you take care of it for me.
He really likes.
I like
trucks, man. He really does.
Country people. We'll be back.
All right, welcome back. We're on the video game section, and I'm the moderator because I'm.
Sorry, guys.
You freaking millennials and your phones. Yeah, I'm the moderator. I'm the moderator because I actually have a question. I'm curious to see what these guys think. So, in media, and especially with last week's discussion of, he's still on his phone, of us talking about guns and violence, a lot of people say, do video games cause more violence? It's making us desensitized to violence. We're not going to get all political on it, but I am actually just curious to see, do you guys think that video games can cross the line? Is there a line to be set for video games? And have you ever felt that a video game has crossed that line?
I want to talk first. I'm finding a tweet that accurately answers this. So,
he's giving an excuse.
Papa Jordan, can I get my phone back out and find it?
Just this once.
Is that okay with you, Justin?
I get to talk to him. Okay. So for me, what I noticed, I want to say back when
found it.
Back when we still had Sega Genesis going on, and I was playing Mortal Kombat 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, like the whole, the EV rating or whatever. That's sorry, because Mortal Kombat. But the thing that I noticed, I didn't necessarily become more violent from playing, like shooters stuff. I didn't think like, oh, I'm gonna shoot things. The only thing that I do believe is real as hell is the Grand Theft Auto shit. Where if you play Grand Theft Auto for so long, you start seeing things different. So you come outside, you like see the mailman. You just like, I can just pop his ass in the truck. Nah, bro, for real. I really feel like
he's a different type of person.
Either way, that like Grand Theft Auto is one of the things. Like, I'm in a side mission. If this mission is like really real life and it's something I could do, I really like, man, I wonder if I could do this.
Real life mission.
But outside of that, and then another thing, I think wrestling made me pretty violent.
Justin is easily influenced, guys.
Wrestling made me violent. But
you go giving people rock bottoms and stuff?
No,
oh yes,
everybody did.
Steel chairs to the head.
Yeah, and that, I mean, when I was younger, I feel like children, if anything, I think younger children are more influenced by video games more, or things they see, honestly. Because even myself, I was not allowed to watch wrestling when I was younger because I was the kid doing
you got
wrestling
strict
moves on
parents.
people. Yes. Well, it was more because I was doing these moves on people, and you probably shouldn't be doing it. Because as a kid, you don't know what's playing and what's for real. It's all the same. But no, yeah, I mean, I feel like there's this guy who speaks out a lot against video games and violence, and like I guess not against either way. Like and he always has a copy of Grand Theft Auto. So your spiel right there, if he finds this video, he's probably gonna use you.
And I don't care because it's real. But that's just me, apparently.
Hold on, real quick, can we get that quote before we go around the rest of the
so this one guy I follow on Twitter because he's a really good video gamer. His name is Gigs.
Shout out
at T1 Gigs. Shout out if you see the video. He says, as someone who has been blasting fools and making strippers show me their titties on Duke Nukem 3D since I was 3 years old, violent games are not the problem, lol. Some people are reaching.
Okay, I can respect that.
I don't know, because last year I bought UFC, and through basically my career of UFC, you actually have to go through training sessions and stuff. And like I played that for like 2 weeks straight, binge played it. And like I literally, I thought that if I were to get in a fight, I could pull off some of these moves. Like,
yeah, he kept talking about elbowing some people or
fucking
freaking
flying knees to the heads, fucking jump off the cage. Yeah, so like, and it was very plausible. The game made it look very easy. But
it was very plausible.
I was convinced.
Like I just need to stretch a little bit more, and I could probably get into it. But as far as like other games, like you were talking about, like I just bought Grand Theft Auto. I've been playing that a lot lately. Like, I never really had the sense of like, dude, I could just grab someone, pull them out of their car, and take their car, like take them like their seatbelts.
San Andreas. You know what? And I'll say this. No. I'll say this. As an adult playing GTA 5, not necessarily the kind of thoughts that I have as being older, but playing San Andreas, like when San Andreas was hot, yeah, like I'm for real, dude. Like San Andreas definitely had me. I wasn't thinking about capping people, but I was just thinking just doing things that I shouldn't be doing.
I feel like, and this might be not PC, it reached more to a certain demographic more.
An urban demographic?
Yes. Because it was African American in the hood, more or less. And so I guess people, everyone liked it because it's Grand Theft Auto and it was a completely different setting, and it kind of fit a lot with that. So I feel like a lot of us are, oh man, like we're all living out our like hoodnificent fantasies.
Maybe.
What do you think?
So do you have an opinion real quick? I want to get around the table.
Well, I shot shit up when I was a kid, and I don't feel like shooting shit up now. So
I respect that. Yeah, I mean, like, me personally, I've only had one instance. Like I've never had a violent thought in a sense. Well, violent. Anyway. But I've never really had an issue where I feel like I have to go out and do some violent action because I played in a game. I knew that there's a difference between a video game and real life. I comprehended that as a kid. However, though, there were times where I felt like, I'm like, okay, this crossed the line a little bit and this makes me a little uncomfortable for a game. The one instance that always comes back to mind is Modern Warfare.
I knew you was going to
say Yeah. Oh, did you say Modern Warfare when you go into the airport and you literally are just killing? Like, did you remember that part?
I didn't play it.
You didn't. Modern Warfare 2.
Oh my God. I whispered under my breath. I had a feeling you was going to say it.
I heard you. Modern Warfare 2, you literally come in with like 3 other Russian guys. And you have like this big minigun, basically, and it's like there has to be thousands of people in an airport, and you just light them up, like you're lighting them up, and they're all running away, and you have realistic screams, and like people are just, you have bodies on the floor, and you did all that.
Granted, when you first start the game, it says,
it was a warning. You can skip it.
Do you want to?
But who's gonna do that? No, I'm just joking.
I mean, hey, they tried to help you. They said, look, you might want to keep your sensitivity, like, you know.
To me, and like stuff like that, I think that's what kind of doesn't squash the argument, but it does kind of put it more towards those game developers, because they give you all the opportunity in the world to avoid this. Like you have a rating system. If you're a strict ass parent, you can prevent your child from getting this. You know what I mean? And I know it's like
Modern Warfare has an M on it. Like, should your 8-year-old really be playing that?
Right.
It's at 17.
It's actually more 17. Specific than movie ratings. Like M is for mature.
GTA has an M always.
Yeah.
Seriously.
And then you can't give it an argument where it's like, well, kids will just find it. Like, kids don't just find guns. Kids just don't just find crack cocaine. You know, I know video games are a little bit more accessible, but
and kids don't usually have $60 to go buy the game.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's very true.
Like, my friend has it. Like, they got it nowadays where it's kind of a little bit more difficult to even share games like that. There's all the storage and shit. But I mean, they give you all the opportunity in the world to kind of avoid these things. Like the fact that you said they have a filter for that, like that says a lot. Like, hey, this shit's real. This rating says this shit's real. We're telling you this shit's real. We're telling you your child shouldn't be playing this. If you bypass all of these things and your child watches this and your child goes off and does certain actions, that's not on us. And I can't blame them. What they're doing is we put too much stuff on these types of things. Video game is art. It is art. It is entertainment. It is art, and it's not to be taken seriously. I don't think Rockstar is making Grand Theft Auto. They're not making Grand Theft Autos and Red Dead Redemptions to influence people to act these specific ways. What they're doing is making a story, making an interactive story, and allowing you to play through it. And so even in that Modern Warfare example, they're showing you how real this shit is, and it's not to just make it gory. I'm sure it had a place in the story. It had a very significant place in the story, so you can understand the background more. So as an adult, like I said, I didn't have that issue with Grand Theft Auto, but as an adult, I understand the storytelling a little bit more, and I appreciate it a little bit more. It's not Frostbite's fault that your child does not have the mental capacity to be able to
function in society or something.
What I mean? And even like me, I'm the type of kid where my mom, I'm not, everybody's not like me, but my mom, I got to watch shit all the time. Like I was watching Simpsons when Simpsons were raunchy. I was watching South Park when South Park was first out. I watched Adult Swim back when it had like the original intro to the shit.
With all kids get out of the pool.
Yeah, exactly. I've been with Adult Swim. Like we've been with that kind of stuff since day one, and like us growing up on that kind of stuff, we still have our morals that our parents tell us and stuff, like this is right, this is wrong, and we still have our basic morals of understanding, like don't kill, don't steal, don't do things like that. But we really can't get on like games and movies and things of that nature. They're making it because things are getting a little bit more desensitized, and you have to push the envelope a little bit more to really make the kind of statements that you were trying to make once before. But at the end of the day, it's for art, it's for entertainment, and they tell you that this kind of entertainment is for this kind of person, these kind of people, and if you don't like it, don't do it, don't watch it.
And they have age restrictions. At the end of the day, like if you have to be 17 to to buy the game and play it, and you're complaining that your 13-year-old child is shooting people up because of it, like, why then was your child playing it? They, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it had to be bought, you know? Like, we've all seen the meme that says, when I was a little kid, I had all the time to play video games, but no money to buy video games. And now that I'm an adult, I have the money to buy video games, but not the time to play them, you know? So it's like, and that's emblematic because as a kid, like, you really had to ask for those games. Like, you had to bug your parents, and if you're lucky,
that's very true.
You get the games you wanted. Or like me, I'd wait till my birthday. You know, like, that's when I got my stuff. I'm
sorry to cut you off, but I would love to see the statistics of how people take things. So, like, if kids were to actually play games based off their ratings, if we're playing a game that's of mature, and we actually have 18-year-olds, talk about how you feel and things of that nature, I'm pretty sure that we're not gonna have that kind of thing where it's this is overwhelming. You know what I mean? If teens stuck with teen games, and
like if everybody stuck to their age restricted age,
and it's unrealistic to ask of that. But if we were to actually look at the statistics to see how people are taking these kinds of things based off of these age restrictions, I feel like you'd see that they're essentially doing their job.
Yeah. And then, do you guys have anything to add to that?
I mean, I just gotta say, like, if you look at, like, the music industry, you can buy the explicit album or you can buy the censored album, and it's like, right now, I know with the video game thing, another big topic is how basically today's music has, like, brought apart, like, all the drugs and all this violence and everything, and how that's engraved into our culture. But it's like you guys are saying, there was preventative actions that were put in place by the record labels and everything. That it's not an everyday like topic, because at the end of the day, you can go out and you can buy an album that's censored, and I mean, for the most part, all the bad stuff's going to be taken out. Or like a younger person, without the specific language, they wouldn't be able to comprehend what they're talking about. But if you have the like explicit version, where like fuck this and fuck that, and like I mean, it's just like what you guys are saying, if you actually followed the rules that are actually put in place to protect the people from doing all this, then we wouldn't be having these issues, and then wouldn't be having these topics about video games. But like, it also goes back into like what we were talking about last week, where like, where does mental illness come into play? Like, where someone could play and be like, not have the morals per se, be like, oh yeah, like this is awesome, I want to do this. Like you were saying, you felt horrible, and like that was a clear example of like, it asked for your confirmation to play that mission.
And
you
I
played
did
it. You felt horrible, and like
so what you get.
That's what you get.
But that speaks measures as far as like human beings. Like, you knew it was wrong. Like, you had to do it because it was beginning of the game, but like, you knew it was gone, and then you forgot about it, and you were played throughout the rest of the game. So
I had a question for you. With you working with certain artists, and you work with different genres.
Yes, sir.
Like, how do you think that affects kids? Just kind of the kind of music we listen to. So like, we got like Lil Pump and stuff and all that kind of shit. Where all that kind of stuff, where kids are, literally kids nowadays are being more explicit than adults used to be. Do you think that's just a part of the art form, or do you think it's part of the shock, like just for shock value, or what do you think?
Well, I think it's a mix, because like, mainly the artists that I deal with usually have a mixture of like, some of them don't even do drugs. They just say it because they're trying to get clout on music, and like, kids are gonna listen to it. Like, music is more accessible than video games. Like, video games, you have to go buy the music. Go buy the video game, and then music, you could just download it off of YouTube or download it off of MP3 and whatnot, and you'll go listen to it. It's very, very difficult to prevent. But I mean, in terms of the genre, it just depends on genre to genre. I mean, like, there's certain genres that like you could kind of try to get your kid to listen to, like EDM music, where it's like there's no cursing, no like,
they're gonna be jumping out the wall.
Yeah, but
They'll be doing Molly all day. Yeah.
But there's like no mention of like Molly in lyrics or nothing like that. I mean, in the culture, but they're not. I don't expect a 13-year-old kid to go to a festival or something like that. I'd
be surprised. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, but but if you're like not too generalize. Yeah, but like if you go to hip hop and you listen to some of the lyrics up there, and then I'm not trying to be that guy, but I mean, like as a producer, I see it every day with like trap artists coming in talking about they slang this, they slang that, and then they go to schools and be like, don't do this and don't do that. I mean, like. What was the perfect example?
Tekashi 6ix9ine did that.
Yeah,
you see him all the time.
All the time.
All he talks about is doing this, doing that, and then you'll see him out with schools like, "Hey, I'm just doing
shit. Lil Durk does that all the time. All these drill Chicago artists do it all the time. They're on the South Side, on the CPS schools, trying to like influence them. But your music is talking about like, go ahead, shoot this up, go ahead, shoot that up. But that's how it is. And I'm not trying to like, this is just for the kids. This is not like my opinion for that. It's just in my opinion. It's a little different, and it's all art form really. Because I'm not knocking the art though. Because if that's what they're saying, that's not on the artist. That's on the people that's trying to monitor the kids and whatnot.
So what I've gotten from all this is I feel it comes back to know your kid. Know what you think they should and shouldn't handle. You're kind of their parent. Follow the rating system that are put out there. Follow the rules that should be put out there. Obviously, me as a 23-year-old man is not going to be as easily influenced as a 8-year-old kid or something like that. They've shown studies of kids. I was watching a video, showed a study where they showed a video of this little blow-up clown. And the kids were beating up the clown, and the kids, then they put them in the room and put the clown in the middle, and all the kids went to beat up the clown, right? So, and then they took a group and didn't show them the video, and the kids completely ignored the clown that was in the middle of the room. Yeah. So it's one of those things where, and I think we're all alluding to this, know your kid, know what they can handle. Let them get a sense of morality before you let them play GTA. It all comes, I guess, back to the parent in a sense of knowing what your kids are interested in and knowing where that could go or where that could take them.
People don't like getting blamed. That's why the parents try and divert wherever, and then somebody else, politician or whoever, tries to divert it somewhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole Modern Warfare thing, though, was kind of interesting because when I was younger and I played that scene, like, it didn't affect me in the slightest because in my head, I'm just thinking, like, I never once saw it as real. And so honestly, when I was shooting, I was just thinking, that's a pixel gun, that's a pixel gun. like I didn't like at no point in time did I ever like
say this is someone dying.
Wow, people are dying. I was like, no, it's just, I mean, this is not, and
I just thought it was messed up.
And it's interesting. Yeah. And then, I only actually really thought about it once. Then I started hearing people like, oh my gosh, I was like, oh yeah, we were killing people, weren't we? And it's just interesting.
I mean, to wrap it up though, like as far as like our generation per se, like how many of us got our asses beat as kids? Like we got our asses whooped. We had to stand in the corner, timeout, punishment,
I was too fast.
grounding.
I got away.
And then
you weren't left alone.
But like,
basically.
not only that, but like you guys are saying, like kids now are swearing like at a younger age. Like I ate multiple bars of soap as a child because of swearing. Like my dad eat liquid soap, a bar of soap. It doesn't matter. Like,
they eat Tide Pods for fun now.
Yeah, now they do it for fun.
Back then it was a punishment. So I mean, but yeah, you just have to look at that.
Not millennials.
Like
clear that up.
Yeah, clear that up.
Yeah. Nowadays it's like. I mean, you don't hear anybody about beating their kid. No, not beating their kid, personally. Like disciplining or punishing their child or a legitimate grounding. Like my dad used to make me take out all the power plugs and batteries and give it to him when I was grounded, so I couldn't have any electronic.
Shout out to Dan's dad. Because I know friends who would get grounded and they had all internet and video games.
That's not grounded.
And I mean, we had IM back then, not like social media like that. But like, what are you grounding your kid? Like, what did you think he was doing when he went to his friend's house? They're just playing video games.
Yeah, but
I just want to say it's art.
No, I do agree.
As a millennial, all of these things are entertainment. There are some poorly moral people that do make things to try to be like that, but
to be edgy.
Yeah, but I don't think it's fucking propaganda when guys like XXX
are making, dumb shit. It's not propaganda, it's art. A lot of it is art.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not mature enough to be able to
handle
that kind of art, then you probably shouldn't associate.
And I agree with that 100%. But that wraps up our gaming. Justin, you got any shout outs? Sohan, you got your shout outs? I know you got to do it real quick.
Shout out to Oprahside and Zemo, because we be watching Zemo stuff through Oprahside, so shout out to y'all. Shout out to Soul, because Soul's been giving us a lot of good beats.
You have a little Formula Racing.
Sure. Shout out to Matt and Swims. Shout out to everybody that's been subbing. Shout out to Jalen and Jacoby, because I got shout out from Jalen and Jacoby. Yeah, you guys need to look in that more.
Jalen and Jacoby, shout out you guys out?
Nah, we're just shouting out because Jalen and Jacoby shouts out.
He really likes Jalen and Jacoby,
really
guys.
A lot. So, other than that, I think, in Noise Systems, shout out to old boy for making the also additional dope ass beats to go on with the pod as well.
Thank you to all you guys. We appreciate you guys. Sohan, you had one last thing to say? Anything about your things that you got going on?
Working on a beat tape, so look out for that soon. Nothing else. Follow me on Instagram, Sohan Grover Beats.
We got it all in the description as well.
Yeah, we appreciate all you guys liking, commenting, subscribing. If you're new here, we appreciate it if you keep doing those. You subscribe, hit that bell. But till next week, we'll see you guys next time.
Oh, that camera.
That one.
That one. None of that was recorded.
Yeah, it just stopped. It stopped all the way back.
All right, guys, we'll just do it next week. So we're done. We're done.
Your mother.